Hey, you're watching a UIM level 3 guide, and in this guide, we're going to be covering Mastering Mixology on release. So, this won't be a final guide, but I do think it's worth making something for those level 3 irons that want to go and collect all of the logs. It has been added, so you can see that there are now 7 new logs. I think for UIM, the prescription goggles and the alchemist amulet are pretty good. Some of these other ones, like the pre-pot, are really good, but they're going to take a lot of time to green log. So yeah. The other thing to mention is that there are requirements on these potions, so you do need at least 60 herb lore in order to even do this minigame. And ideally, you would come at 86 because then you would have no limitations on any of the potions or the use of uh, I think the pre-pot. I can't remember. Now, I'm unsure if with the mini game you are able to, as a UIM, use the potion storage. So I don't think points are worth being spent on that. And I don't see anything here for the collection log for it. So I don't know if that's even worthwhile. But how you get here is pretty easy. Obviously, it's Varlamore. So you can either go through the construction cape to the POH portal, which if you look at the content, I'll show you that. But you can come here via the Hunter's Guild. That's probably going to be your fastest if you have um, the whistle or anything else, and take the Quetzal transportation via Renew. And you shouldn't even have to unlock Alderan. So Alderan is where this minigame is. And you'll see the minigame right here on your mini map, but unfortunately there is no actual minigame teleport for it, which is kind of strange. When you first enter, you'll have a little bit of dialogue with Clanilla. It's like 3 seconds, and then you can just head downstairs and you'll see here we are. So what you have is Lalo, and you'll basically talk to him at first, and then you can see all of the different rewards. So you've got Apprentice Potion Pack, Expert Potion Pack. We can get, a number of different things. Now, it's not cheap, right? I mean, it's about 500 just for one of these, and it requires, for example, 85 herb lore. So we're talking pretty much for getting, super energies and higher potions. If you're going to use this as a level 3 iron, we're talking about having at least 85 herb lore before you can even do that. All of the items are a little bit overpriced, in my opinion, based on just starting to do it. I think it will take a little bit longer for us or for me because I'm learning it. But the pre-pot device is apparently pretty good. That can freely assemble to allow you to consume many potions in a single action. So you can actually kind of um, front load some stuff. And then the alchemist amulet isn't bad either because when you're making pots, it has the chance of giving an extra dose. That might be good in general for UIMs. I don't know about level threes because we don't really care all that much. But if we're making potions, it's kind of nice. Then the ultimate one that you'd probably be here for is a level 3, especially as a UIM, is the prescription goggles, and that provides a 10% chance to save your secondary ingredient when mixing potions. So even if you're not going to do this, it's probably good to at least get the prescription goggles. This does look pretty heavy, but as you can tell, most of the rewards are very heavy on red and pretty heavy on blue. So kind of the low tier herbs and the high tier herbs are what give you a lot of the items. Some of the outfit items that are quote unquote more cosmetic, they don't actually add anything. I think that lab coat adds 10 IQ. I don't know what that really means. Um, but yeah, there isn't really much blue, so it's kind of more balanced, but red is always going to be the higher end, and the higher your herb lord, the more you'll get those. So it probably wouldn't even be worth doing until you're at least 86 herb lore, because the potion caps at 86 with the lip black liquor. And I've been hitting mega light liquid, and man, is that nice. That's been keeping my score across the board pretty equal. I just started. You can see my green and red are at 700s plus, but my blue is pretty bloated. And that's okay because you use a lot of blue and a lot of red for the rewards, but I'm not getting as much red because I don't have anti-leech lotion and lip black liquor. You can also, have them ready in your inventory. and make a bunch of them and then have them below whatever the top potion is. And then when you get an order, just use it. So we'll explain how this works. So as a UIM or as an iron, obviously you can see that there's a bank chest right here and there is this refiner. Now what I was doing is unnoting herbs, and I'll put a picture of image from the friend and homie our that has kind of some different rates. And what you'll notice is that certain herbs obviously are going to give you the low tier paste, which is Mox paste, and certain herbs are going to give you the high tier paste, which is the lye paste, and then certain herbs are going to give you the aga paste. And the problem with this minigame is you don't really use just across the board, 10 Mox, 10 aga, and 10 lye every single time for every single potion, right? You use the amount that's required, basically what you fill in this hopper. So the problem is that not every potion requires an equal amount. And honestly, you're going to want more lye and more Mox because, as you do potions, you're going to find that rewards wise, you're probably going to use those more. Now, the calculations, obviously, this released today, so I have no idea. And I'm sure they're going to add a plugin, and that's probably why Jagex released this content as a little bit over intense in terms of thinking, because that's how Giants Foundry was. It's not that AFK, but you can basically semi-AFK it. There's no time limit that lowers quality or anything like that, so that's a nice perk of Giants Foundry. And honestly, once a plugin releases, that makes it more mindless and improves some of the UI elements that I think this minigame is missing out on. It'll become better. So basically, I just unnote grimy herbs, clean them, and then deposit them. You can spam click the refiner so that you're not just sitting there waiting for it to auto click, or not click, waiting for it to auto put in the herbs. But yeah, that's pretty much how you get started. So I started off with about 4K paste each, not knowing what the heck I was doing and just getting some help from JCW. And then what you're going to do is when you come into this area, what you'll notice is on the top left is your potion orders. Now, these are not like you complete this one, this top one, then you move to the second one, then you move to the third one. Actually, how it works is this is the 3 different ones that are available to you to make right now. So every time you turn in an order, all 3 of these are going to change. It's basically a refreshed order. So you at the top are going to immediately need to look through these and know what you're shooting for. That's a little bit annoying. Hopefully a plugin will kind of mindlessly make that based on some calcs. I really don't know. It probably won't. You're going to have to learn this. The second thing you'll notice is what is here in Regents, and that's basically what you fill with this hopper. So when you're making potions here, you're going to end up depleting this. And so from time to time, you're going to need to deposit and it'll refresh it to 300 flat or off the surface. But you'll notice that obviously it wasn't balanced before because I'm not just making, a mix-a-lot, which does essentially use one of each ingredient. Now I have these tiled here just so that I can basically remember how this game works. The annoying part is that this little table thing requires you to be one tile in, and then you have to click either the lye, the Mox, or the aga lever. Unfortunately, with this one, it's nice because you can click all the way out here. With this one, it's not. So whenever you're doing the green, it's really annoying. Hopefully they can maybe fix that, but it's kind of annoying when you're trying to mindlessly do this thing. And the click box for this is like much smaller, but yeah. Okay. So the next step is to look at the word, and I'll put a image that JCW shared with me, which is pretty helpful. I think it's, not perfect, but it's a imgur that you can use that'll show you essentially the lab notes and show you what are the regents for each individual potion. Now, how this works is you can see these 3 little circles right here. Depending on what lever you operate, you will fill this up with the colors of whatever 3 ingredients you need. And then you're going to basically go and pick up that vessel from the mixing vessel. So the only thing that's annoying is you can't undo it. So if you accidentally click something incorrectly, you're going to make a wrong potion. Now, you can be assured that no matter what you make, it's going to be a potion that you'll eventually be able to use. So it's not like you're just wasting potions, but it's kind of annoying if you have something on your order that you're going for. You're going to want to make sure you understand the system. Now the system is really weird. Red is L, green is A, and M is blue. But some of these are really obvious, like Mammoth Might Mix. You can guess that that's MMM, which is blue, blue, blue. It would have been nice if they would have done something like everything started with B for blue and everything started with um, R for red and everything started with G for green. I mean, they could have at least done us that favor, but of course, they didn't want to make it easy. So the nice part is when they're obvious, like Mystic Mana Amalgam or Mammoth Might Mix or Mystic Mana Amalgam. Now the issue is, like, obviously I need more red and more blue. So when I look at Mystic Mana Amalgam, well, that's going to end up leading to two blues and a green, which isn't bad, but I'm definitely not going to be getting red, which I'm lacking because I don't have a couple of the requirements, the required herbal level to do those. The Mammoth Might Mix is going to be all blue, which I'm already pretty bloated on and I don't really want to do. So now you're in a position where you really don't have a great choice for what you want to push the points for, but you kind of have to choose based on your knowledge of understanding this quickly, which one's going to be the best one to make of what's available for right now. And in my case, that's not going to be three blues. That is going to be two blues and a green, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click I do it by the letter. So M, A, so Mystic Mana Amalgam, and there we go. And so you'll see the colors and you'll notice that the mixing vessel fills up based on what you selected. Obviously you can't do anything there. So once you click it, it'll give you whatever it is, and it's technically unfinished at this point. So you can't just go put it on the conveyor belt and get the full XP because it's not been processed. Now, the second part after you have your unfinished order is you have these three tables. And these three tables are basically associated with the icon that is right here. So you've got homogeneous, crystallized, and you also have concentrated, which is none of these are concentrated. That means that whatever you're making, you need to make sure that you process it on the correct table. I put these little tiles here just to help. You can't actually click on this tile. When you click on this tile and try to process it, so for example, I have the amalgam, I'm going to end up using this one. It'll just center you to the center of this table. But for example, for the crystallized table, you can click right here and it does let you go straight to it. So it's kind of strange. So if I was to make this on this table, it would be a problem because the Mystic Mana Amalgam is not associated with the concentrated at all. So I put a little V for that so I can just kind of think about it. Now, while you're making this and processing it, there is these sparks, and apparently if you click it like when the sparks happen and then some kind of tick manipulation, you can increase the speed of this instead of AFKing. I'm sure the XP rate's going to be way better for that, but right now, because I'm not really, loving it, but it's, I'm just kind of doing this and there's no time constraint on anything. I'm just letting it fly until it's finished. Some of them you can click and it doesn't go negative. It lets it go faster, and that's basically the concentrate. So sometimes I'll spam click the table to go faster if it's the right order. Once you have it, you'll get the potion back and you can just fulfill the order by clicking that, and you'll see 175. So that was a lower level potion. Gave me some decent XP, and you'll see the points get added. Now, there's also another random thing that happens, and it's pretty bad because there's no UI elements that really indicate it's happening, and the event goes quickly. And that's that you'll get some text that is green text that basically says a herb to the southeast has matured, and out of the compass, that means over here, right? And it's these little young digweeds, I think, these little young digweeds become clickable because there'll be a plant that grows on them. So it's a little bit annoying because you have to be watching your chat box, and then the mature herb can die quickly. But if you do get that random event, you're going to want to obviously do it quickly and grab it and then use it on your best potions. So that might be anti-leech or megalite or liplac. So once you've essentially done that potion, you just move to the next one. You can see the regions have lowered a little bit, but based on what I made right now, a megalite liquid is the best one that I could do. So obviously I'm going to go for it. And you don't have to go in the order of the name if you memorize the potion, but obviously memorizing it's going to take a little bit, and that's something that I'm a little bit annoyed with. So I've been keeping up the Imgur next to it just so I can kind of learn them. And then I'm determining and learning which ones are the ones that I choose that I want every single time. You can also click away from these tables, processing tables. But like, for example, that was 295, pretty decent XP. And I haven't even used any of my really nice herbs because those are for lipase. And I'm noticing that because I'm not 86, I'm not using as many. And it's pretty much mainly been the lower level herbs that I'm using because of that. I don't know how the algorithm that they wrote determines in the code what potion orders you get. If it's based on like requirements, because I will see stuff like anti-leech lotion where it says you need to be 84 for this order. So sometimes, I think it just randomly generates. I don't know if it bases it off of your level and scales at all. And the XP rate is like not that great, but it's also really, really nice because you can, dump whatever you want into it and control that by keeping all of your herbs unnoted and using the bank chest and decide how much you want to do it. So, yeah, the only negative is if you transfer all of these into paste, obviously these are untradeable, so you can't put them in a looting bag. Um, so yeah, and you don't really need a whole lot of inventory space unless you're front loading on lip lock potions or something. Now the lip lock potions or whatever the highest tier is, if you make one or want to front load them and process them, you can. The only thing is, whatever potion is at the top of your inventory is what's going to get used when you click on processing tables and when you click on fulfill order. So just make sure that you move those down. And yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't think that there's much more to say. My general thoughts about it are that it is not bad for UIM level 3. I still like making potions at the GE, even if I don't keep them. And I don't feel like for the amount that you put in, input wise, that the output is great in terms of the rewards. Like these amounts of points are pretty low. We'll see. I mean, obviously people who are able to gather a lot more herbs from like Kingdom Divided and stuff like that, like irons and even ultimate irons, are going to have a field day because they're just going to have a lot more herbs, and it does mean less farm runs. However, if we're going to do it as level 3, fortunately we don't need the secondaries, right? But I would say, and the XP multiplier is worth it. So it's technically less farm runs, and for UIM level 3, probably more of a focus on regular herb runs. However, the amount of and type of herbs that you need calculated are going to be interesting because, for example, I didn't do any rarely any runs for low tier herbs because, hey, why keep them? So it might be good for the meta to do a lot of post herby, get a lot of all the types of herbs, and then by the time you're 86 herb lore, or at least come here by 60, or I don't know, at some point, probably determined pretty low level. Come here and do it maybe around like 68. You can do like quite a few different potions, and then just get the goggles or something that's going to benefit you to keep training Herbler outside of here, and then maybe come back at 86. Obviously, you're not going to get any rewards until 80, so I don't really know if I think Marley's Moonlight does give red, but it's pretty low. It's only like 10 per that one. And Mix-a-Lot does give you 10 of each. So if you make a lot of Marleys and Mix-a-Lots, you could still get the points you need to get items. But obviously, it's always going to require more red and blue. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's my quick thoughts. Just wanted to upload a quick video guide for any of you that may have been interested since this content just released today. And I know that nobody's really put out a guide for it as level 3, obviously, or an iron. Yeah, it's going to be some new collection log items. Who knows how long it's going to take. You see your orders fulfilled here, which is kind of interesting because I don't really think it matters all that much, but I guess it's a lot like Foundry where it shows the swords fulfilled or made. So we'll slowly try to greenlung this. Right now, I'm just going to finish up using what I put in to the refiner and have available to use for the hopper now because I can't put this in the looting bag. But I don't imagine being here, coming back here for a little bit until I've got a lot more herbs. And I think that's going to be once I've Concate and I'm doing farm runs via agility, then is a good time to maybe come back and use them from time to time to clear up my inventory and try to balance everything out. All right, hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.